Now, it's time for individuals that are the adults in the community. It's time for the adults that have actually had things happen to them in their lives and have lived a life somewhat to have a discussion here. Okay? Now, we have this little girl named Jules that really thinks that it's needed for exposing to happen of two people, literally, that just want to make content on the internet. And this is how we've always been, both me and Shanny, are just two individuals that want to be on a platform to potentially make some money. And Shanny's doing that now, and she's on her road. But here's the thing. We have to talk like adults about adults being adults and having adult things in their life. Okay? You have this girl that has no life experience with a husband, and you have to mesh. I mean, what's going on with me and Shanny is literally a person coming into their lives that was not part of their family at all. And I'm not the biological father of her children. That's even more complex. Because you're coming into a situation with, you don't know if I could have been a, crazy person. Totally nuts. So you're merging totally separate people into a new unit of a family. Now that's what has been happening for 3 years. I've gotten to know the boys. I've gotten to know Shanny more and better and better and better every day. I know her better so that I don't say stupid stuff, and I'm stopping my bad behavior. I'm trying to, but I fail almost every day, of stopping my bad behavior of anger and childish name calling and things like this. And I was allowed to get away with stuff like that, being pretty much a spoiled, only kid. There were bad behaviors that I was allowed to get away with, but that's being all corrected now with God being God. And he's like, son, you need to correct some things. So this family situation has actually made me grow immensely in understanding how you have to balance things. You can't just be like, well, this is how I feel and that's it. No, it's way deeper than that. And like I've told you before with this whole judge thing where I had to stand before a judge, that just really humbled me in terms of who I am as a person. I never had trouble with the law because I keep my nose clean, always. Always. I never had a problem with the law before this stuff. And it's all you. If you are a troll that makes things up and then calls authorities making false police reports, which is what you're doing, and you are going to pay for it, trust me, financially and or jail time, you're going to pay for it. It's going to happen eventually. Because the cops know now even. The cops know that you are actively making false police reports. They know it. They come here half the time kind of with a smirk and laughing because they know that this is all false. And they're along for the ride because it's kids. It's always kids. Oh my God, the children. You freak out about the children. Do you realize that the two boys in our case have literally had an extremely nice lifestyle for the last 3 years? And that's the truth. Now, has there been trauma because of you people? Yes. Have there been a couple fights with me and Shanny? Of course. Because guess what? That's what happens in relationships. There are times when you are not jiving right. And it could be because I'm in a shitty mood for, oh my God, I have plenty of reasons that I could be miserable. But if you talk to people that know me in real life, the guy that takes my coffee order at Caribou, and everybody else in my life, they think I am one of the chillest guys they ever met, and they're like, oh my God, where's Jason been? Why hasn't Jason gotten his coffee? Well, I'm broke. That's why I'm not getting coffee, but that's not your issue. Your issue is starting to understand what it means to be an adult and have an adult existence. Because I had to do I had to be tutored in that by God really quick. Because I was mainly cloistered as a kid, and I didn't have to deal with much, and I didn't have to think about much because my mom was always there for me. But when she passed, I learned that there isn't going to be a mommy there to coddle your ass constantly. And that was the first thing that I looked at myself in the mirror. It was like the fittest I ever was in my life. I looked at myself in the mirror, and my dad's spirit came out and said, "Son, you got to grow up. You got to act like not a child anymore, because you are not a child, and you haven't been a child for a long time, but you sure have acted like one." This is literally the talk that my dad had at me when I got out of that shower and I was looking at myself in the mirror right after my mom died. And then that next day, I had to get on the ball. I had a list of things to do that long. I had to go to JCPenney and shop for a dress for my deceased mother to put on her. And if you don't think that that's one of the most painful things you'll ever do in your fucking life, you're wrong. It is. It's one of the most painful memories that I have. I was literally crying in the JCPenney saying, I don't know what to do. My mom died and I don't know how to handle it. And she was legitimately extremely like, wow, I'm so sorry. Like, the woman was very nice in JCPenney. And she helped me find a nice purple dress. I buried my mom in purple because she's part of the priesthood of Jesus Christ as a believer. And I said she loved the color purple always. I was literally crying, she loves the color purple. So, I think this is a good choice. But this is being an adult, okay? When your mother or father that you dearly love pass, that you immediately have to think, well, I got to do a funeral. I gotta get everything put together. I have to do the estate. I have to go to an attorney and set up a trust fund, or it's not called a trust fund. It's an estate fund that all the property that needs to be sold off gets sold off if that has to happen. There's so many things that you have to think of, and it's immediate. Because if you don't take care of them immediately, you get fees and all this stuff. Everything is money in this world, and it's disgusting. There's no consideration of the spirit of a person on this planet, and that's why Christ has to return to break the bonds of all of this garbage. Because people are motivated by their bellies, their egos, and their bank accounts. And they are not motivated by love or any form of godliness. This generation is the most wicked in the history of generations. Because I'm going to tell you, all of the horrible despots of history, all thought that they were doing God a service. And you people are no different. You are deliberately targeting two Christians and trying to destroy their lives. Why? Because you think they're horrible people. You think you're doing God a service by getting us off this platform of YouTube when it's basically mainly mindless dog shit on YouTube. Mindless crap. But it's a great tool to maybe make some money at being a performer, entertainer, and that's what we wanted to do for you. That's what we continue to want to do for you. But do you realize how hard it is for an entertainer to do their craft when everything is always focused on your personal life and how bad you are? How bad you are. Can you please tell me what is bad about two people that are just trying to make it in life and maybe try and make a successful YouTube channel What is abusive or horrible about this, folks? Can you tell me that? I just don't understand where you come up with these things, and it's literally fan fiction. These things that you say. There's this thing out there now that I have a DUI. I have never had a DUI. I was not charged with a DUI, ever. Because I was not under the influence at the time. I have a leaving the scene of an accident charge, which has this, it's all over. All of this stuff that you still think is new and cool to talk about is over for me. I have already started moving on from these things, but you insist that Shanny is still like this. And you know what I mean by that. Because all you people can ever say to her is, what about your behavior? What about the way you are? Yeah, the way she is the way she is because she was abused as a child by her parents. Horribly neglected and treated like worse than a human being. Worse than dog crap. Which is why she got out of that situation as soon as she could. Shanny is the farthest thing from a horrible person that you can imagine. She's as far from that as you could imagine. She is a girl that just had an open heart to ready to be loved as a child should be by her parents. That's it. No child should ever have to go with no love, because if they're coming into the world, there has to be a reason for it. And I don't care if you're talking about horrible things that happened. If you choose to have that child, then you should give them nothing but love, period, when they're being raised. Now, discipline comes in later. But children deserve love. That's it. You start with love and then you build. But Shanny did not get that. So what you're doing is penalizing a woman that has a major mental illness because of abuse from parents. And you are destroying any kind of chance that this woman could have a rehabilitation of her spirit and person where the abuse don't matter anymore. That she finally got her head above water and she can feel successful and sprout the wings and be the amazing girl that she was always meant to be, but she was held down and depressed by her parents. So you are literally mental illness shaming a woman that needs love. That's all she needs is love. So everybody that is continuing to harass this woman, you have to ask yourself again. I've checked your spirit so many times now, it's crazy. And you always come back at exactly what you are. You're demons. I rebuke every one of you in the name of Jesus Christ. You're done.